What was it like going to BS?
It was very different from what I see here. The classes were huge. There were 55 kids in each class and one teacher, and you stayed seated in the same place the whole time.
We had 2 classrooms the size of the ones that are upstairs now, and there were 45 children to a class. All the teachers were Holy Cross nuns. There wasn't a lay teacher at the time.
They took us to Mass every Friday, and Mass was in Latin.
Yeah.
And we answered in Latin. We knew every song in Latin.
Art class, do you remember any of that?
No, I'm sure we weren't allowed to draw. There weren't that many children with that many crayons or whatever. It just wasn't going to happen.
We didn't have a gym. The colors back then were maroon and gold, and we were generally known as the BS Bombers.
Everybody walked to school in those days, unless their father was on his way to work about school time. And nobody ever picked their children up. Everybody walked home.
Did you bring your lunch to school or go home?
Sometimes I would go to my friend the Mazak's house, which was about 2 doors from Blessed Sacrament, and his mother introduced me to peanut butter and bacon sandwiches on hot dog buns, and their house has now become the Field of Dreams.
And we would take our sandwich brown bags downstairs. One end of the basement would be the girls' room, and the other end the boys would eat.
I bet you can guess what the most common sandwich we had.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly.
I was a hot lunch person, and if you treated Marcia and Mrs. Scully well, they'd let you have seconds.
We didn't have hot lunch when I went to Blessed Sacrament. There was no hot lunch yet.
Oh, that's
We had
What was some of your favorite memories of your time at Blessed Sacrament?
We won the city championship in 1950, and then we went on to win the Middle Atlantic Championship. We were big stars for the BS Bombers then.
Every spring, we went to Marshall Hall. We would get on this fun boat that sold like food and candy and drinks, and we would go down to right past Mount Vernon to Marshall Hall, and we just spent the whole day doing the rides.
I always harken back to the mission fair. It was just I can remember as a kid looking forward to that day, the excitement that we had around that day.
We had these awesome music teachers, Joanne and Jeremy Young, and they ran the whole music program. And every year we would do this musical and it would have a theme.
every class got to do a song. I actually remember your mom's song. She did, what would you were in the bathtub?
Tub.
Yeah.
Splish splash. It's
We had a
great.
fake bathtub, and she was like,
We like took the tub around.
splash, I was taking a bath.
Yeah.
An even weirder thing, our May procession left the school and they closed off Chevy Circle. Of course, there were not as many cars on the road, but still, the world stopped for Blessed Sacrament School's May procession.
Was there a teacher that meant a lot to you? Who were they and what was meaningful about them?
I had a middle school teacher, Miss Martin.
I remember Miss Martin.
She instilled in me a love of learning that no one else ever did. And she's probably one of the reasons that I'm sitting where I am now.
My favorite BS teacher, who was the ultimate, the GOAT of Blessed Sacrament, was Miss Myers. She was my kindergarten teacher, and she was amazing.
There was a lot of great teachers. I think Mrs. Malloy has left lots of great memories. She was firm but fair.
She always did something different in her class. She made learning fun and just made you want to come to school every day. And I think a lot of the teachers at BS are the kinds of teachers that make you want to come to school every day. And that's why we're so happy to send you guys here.
Why did you want your kids to go to Blessed Sacrament?
It was very clear to us that Blessed Sacrament would be able to teach our kids about their souls and being connected to God.
Because of the values that we learned here. I mean, again, we have lifelong friends, so we learned how to be better people.
The sense of community here is so strong that if you know someone's going through a hard time, someone's there to give you a hand and help you out, no matter what. I remember when I had Quinn and people were just dropping off meals at my door. There wasn't like a meal train or there wasn't, but I would just open the door every morning and there'd be something. And when you're raising your family and you're busy, you know, it's really, you really appreciate it. So the sense of community that was instilled in us lives on today, and that's what's so important to us.
And I'm proud that I went to Blessed Sacrament, and I'm proud that my children did. And my granddaughter. And my grandson. Sorry, Brendan.
You know, why wouldn't you want your kids to have the same experience that you had if it was perfect in so many ways? And ours, I think, really was. And so we knew when we had you that if we could give you this opportunity and bring you to this amazing place, that we would do everything we could to do it. And I'm so glad we did.